Okay, so I would say let's start. Welcome everyone again to this webinar with Carroll University today. For the ones who don't know me yet, my name is Melissa and I am representing Go Campus, United States. So we are the ones who look at your applications, recalculate your GPA, look at your transcripts and so on. And we also send your application to the universities. And yes, today, as I said, as you all know, we will have a webinar with Carroll University. So Oscar, who is the International Admissions Counselor at Carroll, will give you a short presentation today. And after that, we will also do a Q&A. I think Flavio, who's a current campus student, he also joined. Am I right? I think I saw him.
I'm here.
Okay, perfect.
We have Flavio here, and we have a few other students coming in for the webinar a little bit later.
Oh, really? Oh, that's great. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we will have some current Go Campus students who are at Carroll right now, and they will be able to answer your questions if you have any. So if you have any questions, save them for the end of the presentation, because then they and also Oscar can answer all the questions you may have. Okay. Just please mute yourself during the presentation if possible. And then I will change the host, Oscar, so you can, you need to share your screen?
Yep.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
And let's see. There we go. And okay, can everyone see the presentation?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, well, hi everyone. My name is Oscar Calermo, and I am the admissions counselor, international admissions counselor here at Carroll University. I'm also a former international student, so I grew up in Sweden, spent the majority of my life in Sweden, and ended up applying to a bunch of different universities in the US. Carroll was the university that kind of fit my my requirements and my wishes, and went here, ended up marrying an American girl, and yeah, stayed around. So now I work in the admissions office with only our international students. So we're gonna kind of quickly go through a little bit about the university. I'm sure you're looking at so many different universities, and they all say kind of the same thing. But I also wanted to show you a campus tour of the university so you can actually see how it looks like here. We can start with some just general fast facts. We have about 3,500 students on campus, and about 2,800 of them are undergrad, and the rest are either graduate students or doctorate students. And most classes that you're going to take at Carroll are going to be about 21 students big. So if you compare us to a big state school, for example, you might, in a big state school, you might get into a classroom with 300 students, but here at Carroll, each class is going to be about 21, between, I would say 18 to 25 is usually where we're looking at. And one of the good things, and one of the things that I appreciate about it as an international student, was you can really connect with your professor. So if you have any extra questions, if there's a language barrier, if you have any questions, you can always talk to the professor, and they have that time for you since they aren't teaching to 300 students at the same time. We also have no teaching assistants at all. So every single class you're taking at Carroll is going to be taught by the professor, so the expert in the field. So any questions, they should be able to answer. One thing that is new for this year that I'm very excited about for fall of 2024 is if you're taking a Bachelor of Arts degree, so theater, communication, English, any of those degrees, We do no longer require our international students to take a second language. That is something we did in the past, but we now recognize that you already speak a second language, and since you apply to us with an English proficiency score, we can therefore recognize that as your second language, and you can thereof use those credits towards something else, an elective credits that you want to take. We also, every single Go Campus student will get a very significant scholarship. We work very closely with Go Campus to make sure that you have really as high of a scholarship as we can offer. We also do grant you a $2,800 work study scholarship. So if you want to work on campus, that is a possibility. You can, for example, work here in the admissions office with me. You can work in the athletic department. You can work in the international office. It is really up to you if you want to work and how many hours you want to work. And in the beginning of each semester, beginning of each year, you'll be able to choose the top 3 locations where you want to work. We're trying our best to get you to your first one or your second one. Another exciting thing for this year is we have some additional STEM majors. And if you don't know this yet, STEM majors are so biochemistry, chemistry, computer science, mathematics, aviation science, and so on. Have an extended OPT, so you can stay after you're done with your degree and work in the United States. Regularly, it's 1 year, but in one of those majors, you can actually stay for another 2 years after that. So a total of 3 years where you can actually get work experience through your student visa. I will talk a little bit more about the aviation science and drone technologies major. It's a very exciting new major for us. So I'll mention that later. Okay, a little bit of our campus. We have about 72 campus facilities across campus, and it's a fairly small campus. It's about 1 square mile or 1 square kilometer big. So if you have class in one side of the campus and you want to, you have a class on the other side of the campus and you just have 10 minutes between classes, it's usually not a problem. And if you just tell I remember my first semester at Carroll, I had one class on one side and one class on the other side. And I just told my professor, if I'm a few minutes late, it's because I'm walking between classes, and they're usually very, very fine with that. And we have 60 student organizations on campus through student senate, social clubs, academic clubs, Greek life, and Flavio. I'm hoping that Flavio can talk a little bit more about the Global Pioneer Society when we have our panel. That is our international club. It's very recently started, and we do have activities for our international students and domestic students through that organization. And they also have a little bit of a budget too, where they can arrange different activities depending on what our international students want to do. It is also a very safe campus. We have campus safety presence 24/7, cars patrolling the area, and we have campus safety officers kind of walking around on campus. And outside of every single dorm, there's a blue light system where if you're feeling unsafe or anything really where you need to be in contact with campus safety, you can press that blue light phone and they will be there within a few minutes. So very safe. And if you're looking to just get a transportation around campus, we do have a free campus shuttle as well that can take you within a mile outside of campus as well. And one thing that I'm very excited about, this is This has been talked about for quite a while. We're hoping to get a dedicated international lounge very soon on campus, where we will have a kitchen, we will have a place for our F1 advisors, and much more. That is in the works, and we'll share more information as soon as we have that. But just a space for international students to be able to hang. And most of our athletic facilities are open 24/7. It really depends. Each facility has their own kind of opening hours, and it really depends on each of the teams. So if there's a team playing there, you might not be able to use the facility, but if not, and it's open, you're more than welcome. You're paying for it through your tuition. So if you want to play tennis, or if you want to swim, or if you want to run on the track, or use one of our gyms, when there's no team practicing there, you're more than welcome to do that. Yeah, one last thing that I want to mention is our campus is absolutely gorgeous. I'll show you some pictures that I took actually yesterday, last night. But most buildings are made out of kind of the traditional Wisconsin limestone. It's very old, but modern at the same time. University, actually, the university was created before the state of Wisconsin. So we're the first university in the state of Wisconsin. Okay, mentioned this a little bit more, but we do have group fitness classes. It varies a little bit every year what classes we offer, but it's including your tuition too. So yoga, Pilates, turbo strength, Zumba. Varies a little bit different, but if you're interested in those group classes, it's definitely there for you. And if you're an athlete, or if you're interested in joining one of our teams, I'm more than happy to connect you to one of our coaches. We have, I think, more than 10, 20, something like that, international students on our soccer team right now. So if soccer is a sport that you're interested in, you want to actually participate as an athlete, let me know and I'll connect you with our coaches. But really, any sport you're interested in, we do have 20, I think 23 even now, Division III athletic teams. This means, since it is a Division III, we don't offer scholarships, but as a Go Campus student, you're already getting so many scholarships. But just know that they're not connected to your sport. Same thing with all these sports. If you want to watch one of the soccer games or one of the football games, baseball, tennis, any of them really, you're more than welcome to join in. Admission to those games are usually free, or I want to say always free for you as a Carroll student. And it's always fun to kind of support our athletes. Okay, so this is the pictures that I took yesterday. We had an event on campus called Carroll Merry and Bright, which is essentially when we light up all the Christmas lights. You can see the Christmas tree there in the middle, and the Christmas lights are on campus. That's something that I really appreciate as an international student. Wisconsinites are very good at celebrating their different holidays, whether it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's Eve, 4th of July. There's decorations all over the place. I love just driving around in the neighborhoods, looking at all the Christmas lights. That's something that me and my wife do every single winter. But even here on campus, when the snow falls and the Christmas lights are up, I just love it. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're gonna watch a 6-minute video of kind of a virtual tour on campus. I need to be able to kind of see yourself on campus. What I need to tell you though is this was filmed right after or around 2021, so the pandemic was still kind of going on. So if you see any masks, we don't require any masks on campus anymore. It was just it was in place during that time. So if you can let me know in the chat if you can hear this video when I start playing, that would be great. Otherwise, we are good. Hello?
Hi,
Perfect.
I'm Griffin Eidelman, class
Whoops. Pausing it because of the chat.
of 2019 graduate, now current traditional admission counselor here at Carroll University. I'll be taking you on a tour today. Our tour will begin in Voorhees Hall. Built in 1906 as a women's dormitory, it's now home to the President's Office, Institutional Advancement, the Business Office, Financial Aid, and the Registrar. Step outside of Voorhees and you'll find yourself on Main Lawn. Main Lawn is a place where a lot of students like to hang out, do activities, do homework, and relax. Behind me is Main Hall. Main is built in 1887. It's a historical landmark of the city of Waukesha. It's home to the Joyce Paddock Bliss Gallery and Schneider Auditorium. Up next is the Todd Weir Memorial Library, a beacon of the college experience. Head inside to Stone Creek, grab a cup of coffee, and let's take a walk. Your academic success is at the foundation of the library. Our large collection of books and ebooks are tailored to the Carroll curriculum, and the online database gives you access to more than 100,000 journals. The library is also home to the Learning Commons, where students can get help from research assistants, librarians, head to supplemental instruction workshops, the Writing Center, the Math Center, and Career Service Center. On the back side of Main, you'll find the Quad, surrounded on all four sides by academic buildings. Come out here on a nicer weather day and you may find a class or two. Across the Quad, you'll find Rankin Hall. Rebuilt in 2018 from the ground up, now houses 25 professor offices, 9 technology-infused classrooms, and a ton of space for students. Right next door to Rankin is the Michael and Mary Jahar Science Laboratories. Built in 2016, this houses 42,000 square feet of state-of-the-art labs, anatomy and physiology, biology, and chemistry classrooms. Up next is another point of pride for our campus. The $20 million Doug and Nancy Hassett Hall, finished in 2018, earned an LEED Silver certification. It's home to our state-of-the-art nursing labs, as well as simulation labs, plus our 2 exercise science laboratories. Rounding out the Quad is Gainfield Gymnasium. This historic facade is home to a full-size NCAA court, multiple classrooms, a dance studio, as well as a lounge space where many students spend their free time. Carroll's Rec Sports offers the Carroll community intramural sports, club sports, group fitness, drop-in recreation, special events, and equipment rental opportunities. Speaking of sports, the Pioneers are the pride of Carroll. We're home to 23 NCAA Division III athletic teams and compete in the nationally recognized College Conference of Illinois and Wisconsin. Schneider Stadium is home to the Pioneer football, soccer, and lacrosse teams. The stadium was renovated in 2004 and further updated in 2014 with a new artificial turf surface and a state-of-the-art video scoreboard. The 400-meter, 8-lane track inside of the Dennis Punches Track and Field Complex was finished in spring of 2008 and has a natural turf infield for field events. The bioengineered artificial surface on the running track is environmentally friendly and creates a shock-absorbing cushion. You'll find our tennis teams on the Gene Kilgore Trailblazer Tennis Complex. The 6-court complex is named for a longtime Carroll professor and coach who championed women athletics. Kilgore Field, home to the Pioneer softball team, is also named after Gene Kilgore. The softball field was updated in 2012 to include new dugouts, bleachers, sound system, scoreboard, and irrigation system. Van Male Fieldhouse was completed with a multi-million-dollar renovation in the summer of 2015. The newly renovated space includes improved athletic training facilities, coaches' spaces, weight room, as well as a brand new floor for the fieldhouse. The upgrades better serve our entire Carroll community. They showcase Carroll's commitments to wellness, fitness, intercollegiate athletics, and the retention of students. Ottoson Theater has been home to the arts for many years here at Carroll. The main stage theater seats 150, and it's accompanied by a studio black box theater that seats 50. The Humphrey Art Center is a key piece of Carroll's liberal arts education. It prepares graduates for a lifelong appreciation of art and art making. Carroll University is more than a place to earn your degree. It's also a community where you'll grow as a person. Through weekly programs, retreats, and partnership with local faith communities, the Office of Spiritual Life and Chaplain Elizabeth McCord will help you discover a purposeful life. Humphrey Memorial Chapel is used for worship and spiritual engagement. Sunday afternoons, students come gather at Humphrey for music, reflection, and community. It's also used for spiritual life-led meditation and contemplation programming. Shattuck Hall provides a seating space for over 1,150 people. It's home to a large music center, as well as a smaller recital hall. Up next is the Campus Center, a hub of activity and recreation. Let's head inside. Inside the Campus Center, you'll find the Gert Olsberger main dining room, as well as Gert's Grab and Go, where you can grab a snack before class. Inside the Campus Center, stop by the Pioneer Shop, where you can grab all your Carroll apparel. Downstairs is the pit of the Pioneer Indoor Terrace. Coffee and Bagels, Grill Nation, and Ren Mango are all great spots to grab a bite to eat. You'll also find our eSports Lounge and WCCX, our on-campus radio station. Upstairs, you'll find the Stackner Ballroom. On-campus living is a part of the Pioneer journey. It's where you'll make friendships and memories that'll last a lifetime. Carroll's the perfect place for you to call home. Carroll offers 13 residence hall options to suit a variety of needs and budgets. Traditional halls serve as the home to the majority of our first-year students. They feature a mix of single, double, and triple rooms with a common area bathroom and kitchen. Thanks for taking the time to join me on this campus tour. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stop by sometime soon, say hello, and go Pios.
Okay, everyone. So that's kind of a preview of our campus. It is a fairly small campus, but it's something that I really appreciated as an international student. You know, being able to, since you often don't have a car as an international student, you can still access everything. And even if you want to go to the grocery store, one of our shuttle services can drop you off really close to it, and you can go and shop your groceries. We do have weekly trips to Target if you want to buy clothes or anything for your room or anything like that. So getting really everywhere you want to is usually not a problem at all. And if you have plans over the winter, if you have plans over breaks, if we have enough international students, we're often able to arrange trips to the airport, whether that's Milwaukee Airport or Chicago Airport, or if you just want to spend some time in Chicago, you can take one of our buses from about 10 minutes away from here that goes all the way into Chicago. Okay, so what we have in front of us right now is kind of a list of our academic programs. It's 95 plus different academic programs. So chances are the field that you're interested in is offered at Carroll. But some of our more popular programs are animal behavior, which is one of the 8 programs in the whole country that offers the opportunity to really work closely with animals in the way we do here at Carroll. In fact, some of our students in that programs are able to adopt a dog and take care of that dog throughout the duration of the program, train the dog, and get a close look into the behaviors of the dog, and have the opportunity to actually adopt it after. Now, as an international student, that might be a harder thing to do, but you still get that close interaction. Some other programs are very popular: biology, business administration, business economics, criminal justice, exercise science, nursing, psychology. And we do have one of the top ranked nursing programs in the state. So if you're interested in nursing, have that discussion with your parents and with your advisor at Go Campus. If nursing in another country is the right option for you, but if it is, you're more than welcome to reach out and for more information. And two new programs that I'm really excited about is aviation science and drone technologies, and the video game design. So aviation science and drone technologies is a drone program where your first semester, I'm actually taking that first class right now. Your first semester, you become a FAA licensed commercial drone pilot, which essentially means that you can start making money as a drone pilot in the US if you have the correct work authorization, obviously after your degree. Or you can utilize that knowledge in your home country. For example, since FAA are the rules and regulations are very similar in countries across the world. But we learn how to develop sensors to drones. We learn how to maneuver the drones. They have a drone race team, actually. So it's a very interesting, cool field. It is a STEM major as well. So you are able to stay for 3 years total after your degree is done and work here in the US. And the video game design is not necessarily what you might think it is. You're not learning how to program games. You're learning kind of the story behind it. So how to develop the storyline, how to develop and how to connect that music to the game experience. And it is a double major. So you would connect it with maybe a communication, a graphic design, or even a computer science major if you want to work on the building the game at the same time as designing the world, for example. The last thing I want to mention about these programs is 26 of them can be completed in 3 years. What that means is that you take on a little bit more of a workload, maybe 20 credits instead of 16, and you can graduate in 3 years. It is a little bit harder for someone who doesn't speak the language as well as an American, for example, but it is a possibility if you feel like you're up for the challenge. If you're interested in that, let me know. There's a little bit more of a process to get approved for that, but it should not be a problem for you. Okay, the last part I want to talk about is if you have any questions about cost or the Go Campus scholarship or anything like that, please talk to your Go Campus representative. They have all that information and they're able to go through it point by point. But what I wanted to mention today is all of you are still eligible for most of our international or for most of our departmental and talent scholarships. So for example, the McAllister full tuition scholarship, I think the deadline falls in December 17. So while it is getting closer, you still have some time if you want to apply for those full tuition scholarships or the science scholarship or the years in business scholarship or the esports scholarship, theater scholarship, whatever those extra scholarships are. We want to make sure that you apply as soon as possible because you have to be accepted to be able to apply for those extra scholarships. Now, if you choose not to apply for them, you will still get the big scholarship from Go Campus. You'll still get your work study. But if you're looking for that extra little boost, make sure that you submit all the documents to Go Campus as soon as you can so that you can get accepted by Carroll and thereof apply for those scholarships. Your representatives have this information as well. So if you have any questions about each of those scholarships, they can guide you to the website and the additional scholarships as well. And that was it for my presentation. If you have any kind of question about the application process, I want you to reach out to your Go Campus representative. They will guide you through that whole process. And if you have any kind of questions about the university, they're also going to be very good resources. but in the meantime, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to be of service. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. And I believe we have Flavio still in the chat. So Flavio, if you can turn on your camera and your mic. And then let's see, I'm looking through the list here. If we have any other current Carroll students that wants to join in, you're more than welcome to just turn on your camera. Okay, so while we are waiting for those extra students, Flavio, could you tell us a little bit more about the Global Pioneer Society and kind of what role that they have in the university and what opportunities there is there?
Yeah, so I'm currently the president of Global Pioneer Society. Short for sure we call it GPS. It's kind of nice. I always loved that. But we basically are a student organization here on campus. We help mostly international students, so like kind of like settle into the American culture, like trying to have as many possibilities for international students to like get involved with events and like try to meet other people. We also encourage like our local American students to join our events, just so like there's that exchange of uh like conversation, just like meeting our local students as well as not like only be tied to the international students group.
And what kind of events have you had recently?
So recently we had a meet and greet um, event when we like introduced ourselves to mostly the newer international students that came this fall. And I was very surprised because, well, knowing from past years, it wasn't as successful, but this time it was very successful for us. And people had a lot of fun. There was food involved, like some games, mostly we played some games, or mostly they were like icebreakers, so like people got to know each other. And so we kind of encourage, international students mostly to get to know other people outside their groups.
Great. And if you're interested in a lot of different clubs and so on, you as a student, can you just join however many as you want to, or?
Oh, yeah. I remember when I was a freshman, I started I attended some of the LASSO events, which is the Latin American student organization here on campus. And yeah, no, that was very fun. I attended a lot of their events in the beginning. But they're very welcoming. Any other student org, they're uh, like tied to the cultural like groups.
Right. So in the beginning of each semester, or in the beginning of the fall semester, when all the freshmen come in, we have a student organization fair where every single organization can put up the information about their fair, and you can ask questions, you can join the clubs and so on. And GPS was one of the clubs that was in that fair. Let's see. So if you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask them in the chat, and we will get to them as soon as we can. See, we're still waiting for some Carroll students. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Also, Flavio, can you maybe share with us what you study and just in general what your experience has been so far? Maybe how it was when you arrived on campus, if it was difficult to make friends, to follow classes, and so on.
Yeah, so I'm currently a junior, so a third year student, and I'm studying applied physics and engineering. And so this is so because of my program, because it's like sort of like dual degree program. This is my last year at Carroll, and starting next fall, I'll be transferring to UW Milwaukee for the engineering degree. So far, I really enjoyed my experience here at Carroll. As Oscar said earlier during the presentation, I love the fact that this was a relatively small campus compared to other like bigger schools. Like, and so I like the fact that the classrooms were small, and so you have more of a like what do I say? It's like it was better to talk to the professors and like they could actually understand and like be supportive of you instead of like being just one person between like 300 plus students in or like in bigger schools. Um, then regarding making friends, I um like I consider myself to be very social, so it wasn't like a very difficult for me to find new friends because most of the students here, like the American students, are very like fascinated by like someone that is not from the US. And so they're always like very curious and like ask a lot of questions. So like that's how I made most of my friends, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. As a former international student, I would agree with that too. Since it is a small university, the international population gets more of a spotlight than maybe at bigger universities, and that's something that we're working on every single year to include our international students and the Americans in both sides of the events. So I'm asked, there was a question here about student that is interested in psychiatry. While we don't have that program at Carroll, like you wrote before, it is usually a program that you would have to get into a master's here in the US. There are several different kind of pathways into that. But if you're studying psychology, for example, or biology with a pre-med, something like that, you can then utilize that and apply it to a master's program at a different university. And I'm sure Go Campus probably works with other universities with those master's programs. So reach out to your talk to your contact at Go Campus too if they have any resources, or we can, as a university, we're also able to kind of guide those students into the master's programs. And to answer the question, does Carroll offer a master's program for Go Campus students? We do. We do offer, we have MBA programs. We have actually undergrad programs like going to an MBA that you can complete in 4 or 5 years. We have doctorate in physical therapy and several other programs. What I need to mention though is that we don't have any scholarships available. So every single graduate program is going to be specific, or you're paying the full cost of that program. Well, let me see. Do we have any additional Carroll students in the chat that are willing to turn on their video camera? I'm not sure. I can't see any other. Okay, any other questions so we can respond to in the meantime?
Maybe in the meantime, can you tell us a little bit more about housing? So where are students usually accommodated, and are they usually in a room with Americans or international students? Maybe Flavio can also share more about that.
Yeah, for sure. Flavio, do you want to start with just your experience in the dorms, and then I can talk a little broadly?
Yeah. So yeah, let's see. You like it
You could just mention in kind of what kind of housing did you stay in the beginning? I believe you stayed in a traditional dorm, and how many
so
roommates did you have, and so on.
my first year, I did not end up having a roommate because of like a weird issue. But so I did have like the room for myself for my first year. It was kind of a special case. Uh, but actually my second year, I did have a roommate, and um, I will say it is also because I'm currently working in the housing office. Like I see a lot of people that like try to uh like solve some of the roommate issues that they have, but they usually get solved pretty like pretty quickly and like with
Mhm.
no major consequences. And so you shouldn't be afraid of having being assigned a roommate because we can always like help you like mediate with that if you ever had any problems. But
Right.
like normally the system is pretty good at detecting like matching people with like similar interests and stuff like that.
Yeah. So to give it a little broader overview, we have at Carroll, we really have all kinds of different housing opportunities. We have traditional housing, which is, you know, a regular dorm room where you stay with one or two or three, or one or two roommates, like Flavio did in the beginning. That's usually what all of our freshman students come in. And as he said, there's on each floor, there is a residential assistant that can help answer questions, make sure that everything goes as it should. Um, if you for some reason lock yourself out of the room, for example, they can help you get in contact with campus safety. They also arrange some events from time to time as well. And then, as we mentioned as well, we do have I think it's a new system for this year actually, where if you want to be placed with either an international student, someone from your same country, or an American student, there's a few different ways to go about that. So you can either get a random roommate, or you can go into one of our Facebook groups and find a roommate through there. Or if you know someone, or if we've connected you throughout the year, we can also we can also place you with a specific student. But in addition to the in traditional dorms, we have suite style dorms for our older students, where um, you stay in two separate rooms and there's a bathroom in the middle. Or we have apartment style, where you have your own little kitchen, where you can cook your own food. You live in kind of your own small apartment with either yourself or with two people or three people. So there's a lot of different options, but I would really recommend to get that freshman experience to live in a traditional dorm. It is a little bit cheaper as well than the other options. Uh, and then let's see, we have some. Okay, so one of the questions was, can you show some more pictures on the non-traditional housing options? There are only limited pictures on the website. Nicole, I can for sure send some pictures over to you. I have some extra pictures that aren't on the website, so I can get in contact with you. I have your email, I believe. So we can talk more about that. And I can even connect you to one of our international students who are currently living in those apartments, is if they're willing to show their apartment as well.
There was also a follow-up question about
Yeah,
the psychiatry major. I know you don't offer it, but
yeah.
would it be possible for the student, for example, to take to study psychology or pre-med? Are these both good options to then later transfer to another university and continue with psychiatry?
You know, that's a great question. My knowledge within psychiatry is very limited. So I would love to connect that person with one of our faculty members to kind of talk through that process, if that's option. What I can say though is psychology and pre-med is really psychology is a major, while pre-med is a kind of a pathway into medical school. So while that isn't necessarily a major, it kind of fulfills everything you need for medical school specifically. But what our faculty does here at Carroll is that every single semester you have to meet with your faculty to get you registered for your next semester's classes or get you approved to register. And in those conversations, our students are able to really talk about what's required for different master's programs, what's required for different programs in general, and how they're really doing in class. Flavio, what's your experience with meeting with those faculty members each semester? Has it helped you? Is it?
Yeah, I will say it really helps meeting with some of the professors. Well, they're usually both like your advisor and professor, some of your classes most of the time. And so it helps you like I think um on the website if you look like through the different tabs, there is a way like there's like some like files where they show you like kind of a broad 4-year plan for like all the majors that they are. But um yeah, I think it's always better to meet with your advisor anyways, even if you know what classes you're gonna take, because they have like
Yeah,
a better insight on like which classes are better to take first and then like build later on
exactly.
top of them.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Because the American system is a little bit different from especially the European system. And having that faculty inside can really help you. And if you're looking for 4-year plans, reach out to your contact in Go Campus, and we can provide them with any kind of 4-year plans for any kind of major we have on campus. So there was a question earlier about, do we encourage students to do internships? Yes, is my I would say it really depends on the major, if it's required or not. We have some business majors that do require internships, but most of the programs it's not a requirement. But as an international student, um, getting that extra work experience can really help you get a job in the future. So I would definitely recommend that. And each of our majors are also able to kind of connect you with people in the field. We have a lot of professors that are actually working in the field currently, especially in the business department, that are able to place you. Now, as an international student, you're only able to work 20 hours a week off campus after your first year. That's a visa restriction. But if you're able to, we do recommend it for sure. Okay, and then we have another question.
So someone is asking that when I will be on campus, I will be 17. Is it possible to speak even though I'm not 18?
Yes, that should be no problem. There might be a form that your parents have to sign, but there should be no problem at all for you to work on campus. And are there any specific rules that we have to follow as international students? That's a good and very broad question. Yes, as an international student, for example, you cannot work off campus for your first year at all, regardless of what you want to do. It's against your visa, so you might get deported really if you do that. But after that first year, you're able to apply for something called CPT, which is within your field, you're able to work up to 20 hours if you want to. Or after you're done with your degree, you can work for 1 year. within your field as well. That's what I did. I studied communication here at Carroll, and I started working in admissions on my OPT here at Carroll. Some other rules, you have to follow every single federal rule. So even if there's a state rule that only applies to, if something is legal in that specific state, but it's illegal federally, you have to remember that you're here on a student visa that is issued by the federal government. So you have to follow all the federal rules. One thing that comes in mind in that sense is, for example, if there's a alcohol law, or if there's a driving law, whatever that law is specific to that state, if it's illegal on a federal level for the whole country, you cannot do that. And please tell us about part-time jobs are available on site. So we do have, every single international student is eligible for on-campus employment. So it's campus jobs that are provided by the university. So Flavio, did you have a campus job, or do you have a campus job on campus?
Yeah, I switched quite a few actually. My whole time. I started my freshman year as working in the dining hall, main dining hall. Then I switched to working in the physics labs. I worked in the front desk of my building last year, and right now I'm working in the housing office. So really, there's like a lot of like possibilities for you to find a on-campus job. It's really easy.
And just like Flavio, there's a lot of students that kind of work in different departments as well. I started working in the facilities department, so I helped out in the facilities, and then then I started working in the international department as an international student. So it really depends on where you want to work. We will most often be able to get you a job. Flavio, can you tell us, so you worked over the summer, that's correct, in the housing department?
Yeah,
and you were able
exactly.
to live on campus. Can you tell us a little bit how that works?
Yeah, since I applied to work as a summer resident assistant during the summer, the housing office kind of like sponsored my my staying here on campus. So I did not have to pay extra for living on campus while I was working, because it was already covered. And I mean, I was also paid on top of that, so it was quite nice.
Yeah, and opportunities like this exist for all of our international students. If you want to live on campus during the summer, for example, since I'm from Sweden, our summers aren't super warm, but Wisconsin has really nice summers. So I loved staying here as an international student over the summer to really get that summer heat. And if you want to work over the summer, we have a lot of different departments that offer campus jobs. And Flavio's is one of the prime examples where you can live for free on campus and get paid as well. We have a question here about transfer credits. So they're attending a university in Italy and wondering if we can transfer those credits into the US. And the answer, the easy answer is yes. We do require a credential evaluation from one of our partner companies called Spantran or EC or WES. And they will look at your transcript and see what's the equivalence from this versus an American degree. And depending on what they say, we will transfer all those credits into to your degree here in the US, so you can start with a specific amount of credits. And because it's a different company that does this evaluation, I can't tell you exactly how many credits we'll transfer in until we've received that report. But usually we're able to transfer the majority of our credits without an issue. Now, most of the time that comes in as electives. So takes care of a lot of those classes that are not specific to your major, but you can still complete your degree in a lot quicker time. I, for example, transferred in 20 credits to I transferred in 20 credits to Carroll, and I was able to graduate in 3.5 years instead of 4. So there's a question here about the winters in Wisconsin. Is there a lot of snow around in the university? Really, where it varies from year to year is my opinion. We do get quite cold winters from time to time. For example, yesterday it was, I don't know how many minus degrees. It was really cold, but then today it's plus again. So it really goes up and down. I would say January, February is usually when we have the snow, the most amount of snow. We can have Christmases without snow. We have some Christmases with snow. But it is, we are very far up north in the country. So we do have pretty cold winters, but also pretty warm summers. Or Flavio, what would you say? What do you think about the weather?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's not it gets very cold in the winter, I agree. But like I don't mind it as much.
Yeah.
Because I also, well, this is like my personal
Mhm.
preference, but I usually prefer winters over the summers, regardless. So yeah, we do get a lot of snow. In fact, even like this past week,
Mhm.
it did snow, and we can only expect more to come.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, for sure. We do get a lot of snow. But it really varies when that snow comes, I think. And one good thing about having such a small university is really that it doesn't take that long to go between classes. If you have to go outside the buildings, you can spend a few minutes outside, and then yeah. In since we're almost out of time, is there anything else that we should cover? Let's say
Oscar,
Melissa.
you only have 2 minutes left, right?
Yeah.
Because there are 3 more questions. I don't know if you
Yep.
can maybe answer them really quick. 2 follow-up questions about work off campus. Do you see them? And one about the theater program.
Right. Let's see here. Okay, so a little bit about off-campus work. So after your first degree, and this is the same for all universities in the US, after 1 year of studying in the US, you get approved, you're eligible to work off campus if your university approves it. And that is very specific to your field. So if you're studying business, you can only work in business, in the business field. If you're studying communication, you can only work in the communication field. And it can be any job. So you can work, for example, I had a friend of mine that worked in a bank a few hours every week just to get some extra work experience. So it is like having an extra job. Essentially, you're just limited to 20 hours a week, and that is combined with your on-campus time as well. So if you're working 10 hours on campus, you can only work 10 hours off campus. But for example, you can't work in a grocery store or at a McDonald's, a Starbucks, or anything like that. And about the theater program, when it comes to the theater program, I would love to connect you to one of our theater professors as well, to give you more information. But there's a few things to mention. We do have a lot of different theater scholarships that some of the based on audience or auditions that you can do online. Some of them are based on other skills. And our theater program you actually are able to get credits by being a part of some of our theater productions. So we have a few different theater productions or musicals every single year where students can watch and be a part of. And a lot of our seniors actually produce their own theater production in the end of their degree. So that's part of their capstone to write the script, to find the actors and to put that together. I would love to have one of our professors that can talk very specifically about the program to reach out, and maybe Melissa can connect us in that way so we can talk more about that. But if you go into our website, you can click on the catalog. So if you go into academics and then down to the academic catalog, you can actually go into each of our major and see exactly what classes are being taken.
Oscar, sorry to interrupt you. Would you mind giving your email address, or do you prefer the students to reach out to their sending office and then I can send an email with the questions? I don't know what
I will
for you.
So I added my email address down there, and it's really up to you guys how you want to. If you're interested in, if you want to email me directly, you can do that, or if you want to reach out to your office and have Go Campus reach out to me, that's perfect as well. So, but in the catalog, if you click on majors and minors, you're able to see every single major and minor and all the classes that are required. We are actually running out of time. It is 12, and that is it for us. If you have any further questions, you're very welcome to reach out to my email or to Go Campus, and we can connect you. I don't know if Flavio is interested or Camilo is interested to answer more questions over email or anything like that. That's up to them. And yeah, I'm here. As I said before, I'm a former international student, and Flavio just wrote his email there as well. Just keep in mind that it's finals are coming up, so if they don't respond right away, that's probably busy with finals and classes and all that. So, but yeah, I'm here to answer any questions you have. Okay, have a great rest of your day, guys, and we will. Yeah.
And Flavio as well. Thank you for joining and answering questions and sharing your experience.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. See you guys.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.